One last thing I want to show you this, and I'm going to take off all of this. Okay, let me put this down. So I want to show us what we call understanding, I want us to understand the variable scopes within a function. And so to do that, I'm going to create a function called greetWorld. Also, what this function is going to do is just going to greet people. Okay. Now, if we call this function outside, we're going to get outside this. Outside this, we're going to get a result. Okay. If we do this outside, we're going to get an output. Hello world. Okay, so why? Because we call this function. Now let's try to alert this variable. So we said, let me go over this again so that we understand what we're doing. Function greetWorld. Now what should the function do? We define a variable called greet and we alerted the greet, right? And so whenever we call this function, now this is a variable inside this function. Let's try and use this. Let's try and do document.write for this. So let me try and alert this time around. Let's try and alert the greet. So we define this variable within the function. And let's try and use it outside the function and see what happens. This first one will work, but the second one, so I'm going to go ahead and comment this out. Okay, now if we alert, I'm going to take this off. So what we're trying to do is to just alert the greet that's inside. Nothing happens. In fact, in most cases, let me see document.write. In most cases, it will throw up an error. Let me see the console. So you see uncut reference, greet is not defined. Okay. Excuse me. So what happened here? Let me go back. What happened here? This greet is defined inside the function and can only be used inside the function. In other words, it is called a local scope. And now we cannot use it outside. Now, but we can actually do something and define variable greet equals to hello world. We can actually do this. Now we can use it inside and we can use it outside. So you see, it's giving us, I don't know where that 60 is coming from. Okay, this one's down here. I'm just going to take this off completely. And so this is what we have. Now, if we decide to say greet, alert greet here. Alert greet. Let's it will work twice. Why? Because it alerted this one. Remember, there is no greet inside here anymore. We commented it out, but we define greet here and we alerted inside it. So it alerted. It will work inside the function and it will work outside the function. But if we comment this out, and it's only one that will work. The second one will throw up an error for us in the console log. Now let's go ahead and do it outside again and see if it throws up that error and remove this one. You see, it will alert twice and there won't be an error in the console. So what's the difference? This is a local scope and this is a global scope. So when you're defining your variable, be sure to define appropriately so that your functions and your applications can access your variables accordingly. Thank you, and that's all it is with JavaScript function. As we go into the ES6 features towards the later end of this program, I'm going to cover arrow function and its use. It's a lot simpler than the both of them. See you in another class. So